Hey everyone, this is just a quick little tutorial to explain what value mapping is. So you should have gotten a picture that I already sort of put a filter on to separate some of the values for you. But to make this easier when you are drawing this out for yourself, we are going to make what's called a value map, which is essentially, you can see this over here, just an outline of the values of the face. So you're not necessarily outlining each individual feature. Sometimes you are, sometimes you aren't. But you're outlining where the highlights and shadows fall. So sometimes the nose shadows run right into the eye shadows, which run right into the chin. Sometimes it's one big shadow across the face. So you're not separating out features necessarily. You're going only by grays and blacks and whites and different shades of the values. So to do that, you really want to start with just what is the easiest to see and work your way down to the stuff that maybe is harder to identify. So for me, like this medium gray here is just, it stands out really crisp and sharp. So what you're going to do, and you don't really want to draw on your paper, you want to keep your paper clean, you're going to take a transparency, which I have a whole stack of them on top of the wooden art cart, and lay it over your paper. You might want to tape it down so it doesn't slide. And you're just going to start anywhere you want, as long as you can easily identify that particular value. So like I said, I'm going with this medium gray. And you're just going to start outlining that shape right where it changes from light gray to whatever the next value is. And you're not going to stop. So you can stop and start if you need to like shake your hand out, but you're not going to like close off this shape until you see that value end. So this could go all the way around the face depending on the lighting in this picture. So even though I'm going from nose to mouth, I'm not separating anything. I'm just still going around it the entire time. Okay, so I'm not going to make this whole entire value map right now because then you're just watching me trace and it's no good. But you can just see how I'm following it no matter where it goes, and it kind of stops. It actually sort of runs into her hair here, so I'm going to follow that there. So I started it, I'm going to go back to the other side and continue that. Again, until it closes itself off or stops, you're just going to keep going. So this goes around her eye. Okay, so I'd follow that all the way around. And once I close that up, I'm just going to move on to the next shape I can see. Some are going to be very small and quick. And you're just outlining any change in value that you can see. Some are more subtle. I don't know if the camera barely picks it up, but here to here there is a difference. So I'm separating that out. And this is part of the reason why we're value mapping, is some of these ones that are hard to see, when it's time to draw and paint, you might be so overwhelmed with doing it right that you overlook the little ones. And sometimes those can be the most important. So you want to take the time to really separate them out now so that you can see them. Okay, so when you're done, a lot of people kind of panic because this doesn't always look like them anymore or look like anyone. It looks like just a bunch of blobs, but that is okay. It is filling in these values with the correct shades that makes it look like a person. So when you're done, like I said, this is one that was done last year. Okay? Sort of looks recognizable, but it definitely doesn't look like a typical portrait that you'd see. But what you do from there is you take another transparency, you lay over the top, and you fill in each one of those values with different styles of shading to practice which technique you want. You don't even necessarily have to do the whole portrait, but this is a good way to test to make sure you know what you're doing and you like it. And then if this is too abstract for you, you could switch to a different technique or a finer Sharpie to get more detail. But then it starts to look more like a person. So it's a step-by-step process. So that is what you were doing after you've completed your value scales and you've done all your other watercolor stuff, is you're just going through, like I said, one thing at a time. And if you think you're done, it's a good idea to check with me, because typically people miss a couple. They just sort of overlook them. So I can check just to make sure you didn't miss anything. And from there, you'll be one step closer to working on your portrait. Please let me know if you have any questions.